I feel really fortunate to be with really knowledgeable people about what's going on in the mortgage crisis, or just this transition of, like you say, Cameron, going from this scarcity and lack to a place where we feel that we can have abundance. And so the reason I'm sitting on this esteemed panel is because with my beautiful friend Luann Robinson Hull and faculty member Rita Marsh from Davina, Kent, and my husband Casey, we founded this organization called Conscious Global Leadership. And the first thing I want to say, though, is this is your guy if you want a lawyer. Because Steve and I were talking about, he came up and said, I'm really interested in conscious economics. I'm interested in conscious business. And that's really the first step to solving this, because it's about our consciousness. And that's just how we act in the world. And so the reason I began this organization is I have incredible teachers, as they say, it takes a village. All the wisdom that's been shared with me is how I initiated Conscious Global Leadership. And what happened was my husband, Casey, he's the CEO of Patagonia. And this whole fear-based movement was happening. And everybody was actually working in that same consciousness, including Casey, who came home one night and said, with all the layoffs, he felt that maybe he was supposed to do the same thing. I might have to lay off people in my company. And it was right around Christmas time. And the first thing that popped into my mind were all the families that were going to be affected. I mean, they just right into my mind. I thought, wow. And so I said a simple question. Are you making this decision based in fear or love? And he said, well, like everybody else, I'm making it in fear, because it's that future, what might happen to my company if I might need to downsize, etc. And so I just said, if you made this decision in love, in seeing that he loves his family, which is Patagonia, there's no separation. That it's not his company he works for, it's his family. He treats people like that. And I know Connie and Kenny have, that's the indigenous way, is that we're all a big human family. So he said, I said, in that place of love, he said, if I made it in love, I would not lay anyone off. I would think of unique ways to really downsize through this time, get really creative. And that's what he did, is he just, they just worked out a way to get through that time. And, as our ancestry, I mean, when we had crops, times where the crops were thin, we managed ways to do that. And we shared resources, and that was part of the tribal way. And so what was really extraordinary is right around Christmas, so this is about 3 or 4 weeks later, it's quite amazing. Their numbers began to rise. I mean, this is a time when people were without jobs and homes and things, and people were buying their products. And they were so shocked. And he said, if I would have laid people off, we never would have been able to support the abundance that actually happened when, this shift in the company took off around Christmas. And ever since then, Patagonia's numbers, and he's kind of funny about this because it's people are buying, but obviously there's something about this brand that's really resonating for people. And so the company has ever since, through this market, this downturn, has been, seeing, they say a triple bottom line or incredible prosperity, which, by the way, Yvonne Chouinard is really big about giving back and really restoring a lot of the ecosystems on the planet. So that's the beauty of it, is that the more wealth they have, the more they give away. And Yvonne, even right now, I just read something Connie sent me, and Yvonne's told his retail people that when people walk in to the stores, the first question they say, when the person says, I'm looking for a jacket or whatever, he says, the retail person says, do you really need it? Do you really need it? And that's pretty amazing, because he's just really focusing on what are our true needs, and what do we, in that sort of scarcity of buying and holding, what is it that we truly need, and what can we give away? So Conscious Global Leadership, I thought to myself, wow, this one decision by one leader had this ripple effect, not only with the Patagonia family, but with the people over in Vietnam and other places where they make the products, but they also, it's like another extended family across the pond. And those people were, could have very well have been affected, and they weren't. And so I just saw this like, wow, what a difference that one decision made. And I just founded this organization because I realized that Casey having a consciousness about these decisions and other leaders being trained in what makes a conscious leader through having kind of an inner awareness practice, we can begin to change the leadership in the world. And so conscious global leadership, my intention was to bring the leaders in all fields of expertise, law, finance, healthcare, entertainment, sports, all of them together to what we call share best inner practices. So what, how can I make a decision not based in that fear, but based in the love and the compassion of seeing us as a big human family. And so we hosted our event at the Aspen Institute, which was remarkable last September, and had people from all these fields of their expertise. In fact, Donna Crawford she's the Director of Professionalism for the Illinois Supreme Court. And I actually met her in India, where I was going through a really transformative process to begin to see the nature of our conditioning and our patterns and why we're fear-based. And Luann's really remarkable at that because she shares a lot of that, the neuroscience of why we act the way we do. And so that's another element that we bring into conscious global leadership is that why are we in this scarcity consciousness? Well, it's very brain-based. We have these very powerful reptilian brain, and it's like, I say use it or lose it. If you're using the fear-based enough, you can really powerfully get other people in that fear consciousness because it's powerful. But when we move to the prefrontal, I call it the Dalai Lama brain, which we accelerate or stimulate when we're in a meditation or mindfulness practice, we begin to be what Cynthia Boudreau, this wonderful Christian mystic, says, we're hardwired for this upgrade. And so it's just using that part of our neurobiology. And so that's what we do with conscious global leadership is we teach practices to help leaders be able to do that. And then, as you're saying, Steve, is these judges, everybody's a human being. And Cameron, you're talking about the same thing about the people and on really both ends. And I don't really discriminate that, I feel like they're all the same. I mean, they're all really, we think all these bankers are running around happy in their yachts. But when I was reading and researching a little bit about this problem and looking at a This American Life episode, all of them had the feeling that it was wrong. They did. They actually came forward, the mortgage lenders, and even the people buying the loans were saying, I had this, I knew that I couldn't really afford it. It was as though they overrode their intuitive part to kind of go with the flow and really want to have what they wanted to have, but sort of knowing intuitively that it wasn't really the right decision. And the same with the people that were bundling a lot of the loans together and selling them. They were saying, it was wrong. We knew it was wrong, but yet everybody else was doing it. So we just kept doing it. We just kept, and it's so that tribal mentality is just everybody jumping in, afraid of being left behind or whatever. And so anyway, that's, I feel like what I bring to this panel is this organization that can really help leaders lead from what we call heart-centered leadership and collaborative and compassionate. And that my vision, and Andrew, we were talking about this, how we can truly solve this problem. I was thinking about Humana. It's a healthcare organization. And my sister-in-law works with them. And what they've done is, because there's a lot going on in that is kind of mimics this mortgage crisis. They partner a healthcare provider with the patient and a doctor, and they all actually work together to come up with a solution that really benefits all of them. And so I was thinking about that, is just to have a collection of conscious people who are really working from the heart, wanting to create a solution and understand and have compassion for the person on the other side. That they don't see the single mother, as just, sort of a mechanistic, somebody that's out there that's just supposed to have a paycheck, to come up with the money. They see him as a human being. They spend time with them, they get to know them, and they see what happens when they don't allow somebody to come back to their home. I mean, it's really, I mean, would I want that to happen to me? It's extraordinary. So I think that when we see ourselves as one big human family, and we come from that place, then I think that we can really solve this problem in a really healthy way.